Well, nobody's able to tell me why it's called Dragon God. Are there a lot of dragons around? Because I haven't seen any. It seems such a silly title. I think the scene where Michael Palin is talking about his big Roman friend, Bigus Dickus, and the centurions there, who thought it was a funny name, but hadn't to conceal the fact they thought it was funny. That was a good example of that. But normally, by the time you get to the point of actually shooting the movie, you've written it and rewritten it and rewritten it and rewritten it, and then you've rehearsed it. So by the time you get to it, you've heard all the jokes about 20 times before. Do you see what I mean? So they're not fresh at all. And therefore, it's not so easy to get out of control laughing about it because you're too familiar with the material. But sometimes you will find that a performance is particularly funny. I mean, one of the funniest performances I've ever seen, and I'm not in it, is the scene in Holy Grail, where Michael Palin is the very wealthy landowner who's giving the wedding where a lot of people eventually get slaughtered. And he is telling the guards, played by Eric Idle and Graham Chapman, he's telling them not to let his son leave the room. And they simply don't understand. They're just completely stupid. And that, I'm very glad I wasn't in the room for that, because I would have ruined take after take. I think it's the funniest scene in the whole movie. But on the whole, you're just trying to get it done, and you're familiar with the material. So people say, do a lot of funny things happen when you're shooting? And the answer is no. The best experience I ever had. I never enjoyed so much the scene with Gonzo. If you remember, where I'm trying to get his arms and legs the right length. Do you remember that? I'm pulling a leg and his arms get shorter. I think that's absolutely wonderful. And they did do one thing I asked them not to do. I said, I am the worst singer in the world. Please don't give me anything to sing. And of course, they did give me something to sing. I had a duet with Kermit. And Kermit is so wonderful to perform with, because what Jim Henson could do, just by sort of adjusting a finger, he could have a change of expression on that little animal. And when you're acting, he's just as good as acting with an ordinary actor. In fact, he's better than a lot of them. And I had an absolutely wonderful time until the song, and then I kept screwing the song up and saying sorry, and we had to do it. About the fourth time, I got it right, and I was so thrilled. I said, how about that, to the director, and I patted Kermit on the head. So there is Jim Henson standing, and I'm patting him on the knuckles. At the moment in London, I have a Fawlty Towers show. That's the sitcom that I did, set in a hotel. And we put three of the episodes together. For people who know it, we put Mrs. Richards and the Germans and the food inspector. We put the three of them together. And it's a phenomenon, because people are saying that they have not laughed like this for years. And there's less laughter now for all sorts of reasons. I mean, I think, first of all, people are more anxious because there's so many things going wrong in the world. And when people are anxious, they don't laugh. That's one reason. But the other is the idea of the extreme woke people. I mean, the sensible woke people have got a very good idea. Let's be nice and kind to people. Let's be inclusive. Well, we're all in favor of that, I think, yeah? Even Jesus Christ would have supported that. So these ideas are not new. Although the woke people often talk as though they invented kindness about 7 years ago, But the trouble is this extraordinary supersensitivity, which now means you can't make now, the first thing you have to understand about humor, I'll be serious for a second, is that a person who is wise, kind, generous, thoughtful, all the good things, isn't funny. Right? It would be like having a comedy about a functional family. What's funny is when people are stupid and lustful and greedy. That's what's funny. If you like Basil Fawlty or Archie Bunker or W.C. Fields, it's not because they're perfect human beings, it's because they were very imperfect human beings. So all humor is, in a way, critical. You see what I mean? You take the ordinary stupid joke. A man walks into a bar and he says to the barman, "Have you heard the latest Irish story?" And the barman says, "I should warn you, I'm Irish myself." He says, "All right, I'll tell it slowly." Now, I don't tell that joke because I dislike the Irish. I happen to love the Irish because the Irish have got the most wonderful sense of humor. I was doing a speech in Dublin, and I flew into Dublin Airport from London, and I was met by a greeter who took me to the car, and I was introduced to the driver. And I said to the driver, I'd never set eyes on him before, I said to him, "I understand you have an alcohol problem." And he said to me, "Oh no, Mr. Cleese, I spill very little when I'm driving." So if you laugh with someone, you bond with them. That's what people don't understand. It's actually a bonding mechanism. Provided that when you tease people, it's done with humor and kindness. Nasty teasing is horrible. I mean, it's not intended to be funny. It's intended to hurt people's feelings, and it does. And it makes them feel rotten about themselves. So we don't do that because it's wrong. But if you use humor when a family gets together, old friends get together, there's always a lot of laughter at the time. It's all this benevolent teasing. We put on a bit of weight, or none of us are getting any younger, and all that stuff. We tease each other in that way, and everybody laughs because they know it's affection. And in England, the problem in England is that two men cannot say to each other, "I love you," because that would be the end of the world. You can't say that in England. You can't say to another man, "I love you." You can't even say, "I'm very fond of you." So what you do, you call him a fucking idiot. Because he knows that you wouldn't call him a fucking idiot if he didn't love you and you didn't love him. Because if you called him a fucking idiot when you didn't love him, it would be very rude. These are the subtleties of humor that I'm afraid the extreme woke people simply don't understand. But nobody knows what they're doing. When we wrote Life of Brian, which I think is the best film that Python ever made, we took it round every studio in England and then every studio in Hollywood, and we couldn't find a single studio that would give us $7 million for a movie that eventually made over $200 million and is regarded in all the polls of international critics as one of the 10 funniest movies ever made. So I'm just making the point. One of the 10 funniest movies ever made took over $200 million. We couldn't find anyone to give us $7 million to make it. Now that sums up the fact that the people in charge have no idea what they're doing.
We hope you enjoyed these panel highlights from DragonCon. That's all we can show you here. But if you want to see the full panel and much more, go to dragoncon.tv. You can sign up for a membership for $10 to see panels from the most recent DragonCon and years past. And this isn't $10 a week or a month. It's $10 for a 1-year membership. So check out dragoncon.tv and of course come back to Fandom Spotlight for more panel highlights and full panels from many other conventions. Enjoy!
This is Captain Zap Brannigan. I prefer to call myself Admiral Zap Brannigan. I'd like to draw your attention to that sexy subscribe button, those curves, that triangle. Like Leela's eye. Click it. Ah, that was great. Follow fun and have fandom and yabo.